All right, so let's go ahead and tackle the configuration of device R1. So what we're going to do is go back, because we've got R1 plugged into PCA. So let's go to PCA, and we've got our terminal open. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and start working on this. Now, our instructions over here, if you look at the interfaces, okay, so we're going to be configuring subinterfaces 2, 3, and 4 on port G001. And we're also going to configure port 6, kind of. And we're also going to need to make a loopback address. Okay, PCA is going to need, okay, so we're going to have to configure DHCP on this router also. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this is going to take a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start doing just the basic device settings on, where am I? Basic device settings on R1. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so we're going to enable config T. Okay, host name R1. No IP domain lookup. That prevents the router from trying to translate any bogus commands we accidentally entered. Now it doesn't tell us any particular text to use for our banner message, so hopefully that's going to be sufficient. Okay, now we need some password action. Line con 0. Let's see the password it wants us to use. Does it tell us which password to use? Well, it does for our SSH. All right, we're just going to type in a password and see how it likes it. Okay, password. Cisco 123. Okay. Okay, we'll give it a secret password for enable. And enable secret password, encrypt passwords. Okay. Set the minimum length of the passwords. Okay, security passwords, min length 10. Now configure SSH. All right, we've got to give it a domain name. IP. Domain name. I hope I don't fat finger the keyboard. I did already. Domain name, CCNA-PTSA. Okay, got it. Username admin. Admin 1pass. Okay. All right, what's the next thing? Generate RSA key. All right. Crypto key generate RSA, use 1024. Almost all these labs are going to say use 1024. Okay, use the latest version of SSH. Okay, IP SSH. version 2. Okay, so we got that done. Configure the VTY lines. Okay. Line VTY 04. Again, local. And then we're going to use transport input SSH. Okay, and I think that that is all the tasks we have to do in that section. All right, now then, we got to configure some interfaces. Okay, let's see, a loopback. We need a loopback interface, and we got to include the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses of said interface. All right. Interface loopback 0. Okay, so we just created, loopback is really kind of like a virtual interface. Okay, and the IP address is going to be 209.165.201.1. Okay, but we're not going to use our usual 255, 255, 0. This wants us to use, let's see, 24, 25, 26, 27. This wants us to use 3 bits off of our host addressing. So let's see, 3 bits, 128, 192, 224. Okay. And it also needs an IPv6 address. Of 2001 colon DB8 colon ACAD 209 colon 1/64. Okay, did I type that in correctly? I hope so. If I didn't, I'm going to get points taken off. Okay, and it also has an FE80 colon 1 for a link local address. FE80 colon 1. The loopback address, I'm sorry, the link local address, I think is the same for all these interfaces. So you'll get used to typing that in. Okay, no shut. Okay, so now I've got a loopback address established that I'm guessing we're going to need later. Okay, so let's see. Now I've got to configure these dang interfaces. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with .2. Okay, so interface G0/0/1.2. Description. Okay. .1Q2, because this belongs to VLAN 2. Okay, IP address is going to be 10.9.8.1. Okay, and this one, and we're using 2 bits because this is a /26 address, so that's going to be 192. Okay. Now we need an IPv6 address of 2001 colon DB8 ACAD A colon 1/64 and IPv6 FE80 colon 1 link local. Okay. And okay, I'm typing in no shutdown. It's not really doing anything at this point. Once we get the sub interfaces configured, we'll apply no shutdown to the whole interface, and then they all should come up. Okay, so our next interface is going to be G0/0/1.3. Okay, we're going to do kind of the same thing as before. Trikes VLAN 3 encapsulation .1Q VLAN 3 IP address is going to be 10.19.8.65. I'm looking up above to make sure I'm not typing in the same stuff as before. What I don't want to have is two interfaces with the same IP address. Let's see. And this one has got, let's see, this one's got a 27, which is going to be, let's see, 128, 192, 224. Okay, I think that is good. Okay, IPv6 address 2001 colon DB8 colon ACAD colon B colon 1/64 and IPv6 address FE80 colon 1 link local. Okay, no shut. All right, now let's see, subinterface number 4. Okay. Okay, this is going to be the management interface. Q4 okay, and this guy's going to have an IP address of 10.9.8.97. Okay, and this one has a CIDR of /29, which means, of course, I'm going to have to count on my fingers once again. Okay, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So I'm going to be using 5 bits. So let's see, 128, 192, 224, 240, 248. There's no shame in counting on your fingers, as long as you come up with the right answer. IPv6 address 2001. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just use IPv6 addresses for everything? Then we wouldn't have to hassle with all this subnetting stuff. would make my life a lot easier in some respects. E80::1. Make answering questions easy too. What is the link local address for any router interface? FE80::1. All right, now we need, let's see, what else are we going to do here? VLANs. Okay, we're still working on our VLANs. Okay, so we need this interface G001.6. 0/0/1.6. Okay, and I'm sure this is going to become important later. Description: native VLAN 6 and Q6 native. No IP address. No shut. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what we've got. All right, we configured our loopback interface. We configured all these router subinterfaces. We configured 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, loopback. All right, we're going to have to configure some DHCP. But before we do that, let's do this. Oh, wait. Interface G0/0/1. No shut. All right, now all those subinterfaces should come up. Show IP interface in BR. Okay, so .2, .3, .4, .6, and then we got a loopback that I hopefully configured correctly. All right, I'm going to save my work because that was too much typing to have it go sideways on me later on. Excuse me. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down through the instructions because I know there's going to be something down here about, yep, sure enough, there's Ether channel. Okay, we'll get to that later. All right, configure default routing to use the loopback interface. Okay. Okay, so we need an IPv4 and an IPv6 default route. Okay, so the way we do that is by just using the IP route command. Okay, now if there's any traffic on any network that we don't know what to do with, we're going to send it to the loopback interface, which had an address of, loopback address of 209. Okay, but we can just say loopback 0. I think that'll work. Wait a minute. Tell you what, let's do it like this. Let's just put the address in 209.165.201.1. Okay, it's going to give us this message, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for IPv6 traffic. Oh, we didn't enable IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, but now we have. Okay, now we're going to give it like a generic IPv6 route that's going to go back to our loopback 0. Okay. All right, now what else are we going to do? IPv4 DHCP for VLAN 2. Okay, we're going to need to create a DHCP pool. All right, IP DHCP. Oh, okay, we got to make sure we include just the right addresses. DHCP pool that consists of the last 10 host addresses. Okay, IP DHCP. We're going to exclude some addresses. Uh, 10.19. Oops. 10.19.8.1. And we're going to go up to, because there's 62 addresses total, and we're supposed to just use the last 10, so we're going to include up through 10.19. 10.19. I hit the return key by accident. .8.52. Okay, that I think will do it. We can break out our notepad and, okay, if I mess this up, then that's on me. Okay, now we need to use some of these addresses for our DHCP pool. IP DHCP pool CCNA-A. Okay, network is going to be 10.19.8.0. .192 on that network. Okay, give it a default router. Default router is going to be 10.19.8.1. Domain name is going to be ccna-a.net. Okay, so that should do it for VLAN 2. Okay, now we need to do the same thing for VLAN 3. So, yeah, caramba. Okay, so IP DHCP pool. CCNA-B. IP DHCP. Because we're supposed to do the same thing we did before, and we're supposed to exclude all but the last 10 host addresses. Last 10 host addresses. DHCP. Let's see, so that's going to be excluded addresses are going to be 10.19.8.65 through 84. think that's right, because this goes up through 95. Okay, so that should work. Okay, let's see. IP DHCP. I should have done the excluded addresses first. Network 10.19.8.64. Okay, that's going to be our network address, and it used 224. It's 227, 224. Yep, that's right. Okay, default router. .19.8.65. Okay, domain name. ccnab.net. Okay, and right. Okay, I think that is all we need to do for the router. Okay, now we've got to get cracking on the switches. So I'll do that in the next video.